G'day Darkrealmers, it's horror author and illustrator Michael J. Elliott here with you again today. And today I've got for you one of my Mary Poppins moments. And I call them that because they're movies that are practically perfect in every way. And I'm talking about A Dark Song. And I'll tell you why it's perfect right now. Okay, Darkrealmers, A Dark Song is a 2017 movie and it stars Catherine Walker as Sophia Howard and Steve Oram as Joseph Solomon. And it was financed by the Irish Film Board in part, and even though the story takes place in Wales, the filming was done in Ireland and beautiful scenery. Now, the first scene we get is of Sophia, and she's examining a huge house somewhere out in the country. And she walks into a room with the estate agent and she says, "Does this room face west?" Now, straight away, just with that, those few lines, the writers have got us hooked. Because why? What does she want a west-facing room for? What is she planning to do? You know, is there something horrible she's attempting? So our minds are filled with all these questions just from that. Then once she gets outside with the real estate agent, he tells her, well, it's a minimum of 12 months. She said, I don't need it that long. And she opens her handbag and takes out a lot of money to secure the house. And straight away, again, where did she get all this money? This isn't usual for someone to hand over that sort of cash, And so we're straight away drawn into why, how, where, when. Great stuff. Now, she drives into town, and the cinematographers have done a brilliant job, Darkrealmers, because we see this lonely road where the house is situated in the countryside, and just nothing, just beautiful scenery. So straight away we get that sense of how isolated this house is and how isolated Sophia will be. Now, she goes into town and she meets Joseph at the train station, and they're having a meal at the cafe, and she says, "So you'll do it?" And he says, "No, I haven't promised I'll do it." So straight away we're going, what is it? Okay, pardon me. He says, "I'll come and look at the house, quite simple, and if I like it and it fits our needs, yeah, I might do it." And we're going, what are their needs? What is this? It's just from the start, it so draws you in. Okay, so Steve Oram's character Joseph asks her, "What do you want to do? What do you want to ask?" And she says, I split up, with someone I loved very much, and I just want to be able to contact him again. And he gets very angry with this and says, "You don't need me for this. This is, bullshit. You can do this ritual by yourself." Okay. And then she says, "All right, please, look, I'm lying. My son, he died, and I want to contact him." And straight away, Steve Oram's character Joseph says, "Don't lie to me. Do not lie to me." And there's a scene where, right at the beginning, where Steve is, cutting wood or whatever, and he asks her, "Do you speak German?" She goes, "Yes, I speak fluent German." And he cuts his finger, and he says, "You're lying to me." And she goes, "No, I'm not." He goes, "Look, your guardian angel just made me cut my finger." So we know straight away, okay, this is interesting. This is very, very interesting. And he says, don't lie to me again. And she goes, "Well, I speak passable German." And he says, "Well, that's not fluent, is it?" She goes, "Oh, it's a half-truth." And he goes, "A half-truth is a lie." Now, this scene is a perfect example, Darkrealmers, of what I've talked about before, called mise en scene, where something in the movie that seems innocent and or not terribly important takes on a huge significance later on. And later on in the movie, when they're having a huge fight, Steve slips down in the kitchen and impales his side on a knife. And he says, oh, your fucking guardian angel must really hate me. And straight away we remember, oh yeah, of course. So it's brilliant at using mise-en-scene. And there are other examples I'll go into in a little while, Darkrealmers. But basically, Joseph is an occultist, okay? And he practices Gnosticism. Now, I don't have the time here to go into Gnosticism, but there's a description you can see there, and that's from the dictionary, the Oxford Dictionary, and I've posted a link to the Wilkipedia page that explains it in a bit more detail, but it basically says that Jesus wasn't, you know, the ultimate divine force. You know, he was a lesser divine being who was here to set our souls right on the right path, okay? And of course it was considered heresy by the traditional church. Anyway, the story progresses, and Steve Oram's character Joseph says, now, have you been following the ritual? Yes, I've only eaten between sun up and sunset. I've taken no alcohol. He said, have you had sex? No, I haven't had sex. Have you? That includes masturbation. And we feel Catherine, Sophia's uncomfortable at that line of questioning, and it's like, yeah, no. Okay, and this is where things start to build, the relationship between the characters. Now, Joseph quite enjoys his drink, and he says, look, I just have to dry out a little bit. It's nothing major, but I need to be pure. And he goes on to explain that what this ritual that obviously Catherine Walker's character Sophia knows about is to summon Sophia's guardian angel. And if this guardian angel accepts their invitation, they can ask for a favour. And that's it's a mind-blowing premise, okay? But he also reminds her, look, we're opening doorways that shouldn't really be opened. He said, I've done this 3 times and it's only succeeded once. He says it's not just angels that come forth, there are demons too, and things. And straight away you're feeling, oh, okay, yeah, this is getting creepy. And nothing's happened. It's just that the characters interacting and planning this ritual, okay? Now, basically he says to her, we're going to be here 6 months. It's going to take 6 months to complete the ritual. Now, we're all used to Darkrealmers, Hollywood movies where they draw a circle, on the floor, they light a few candles and bang, a demon appears or the supernatural entity. So this is really wonderful that we see a movie where the basis of the movie isn't what happens at the end, it's what develops. It's the ritual itself. It's the thing she has to go through. And Joseph says to her, this is going to be difficult. This will be the hardest thing you've ever gone through. Some of the rituals I'll put you through will drive you mad. Some of them will be physically, torturous. And we go, what's she going to be undergoing, It's one of those, it's brilliant in the fact that because it's only 2 actors basically throughout the movie, it's a very intimate relationship that we have with these actors, okay? It's almost like a theatre production, and the characters are just wonderful, so wonderfully written, so strong and dynamic, and there's not that lull between characters that you sometimes get in small movies with 1 or 2 characters or whatever. Now, the next thing that happens is he says, right, you've got to get at least 6 months supply in, food, drink, whatever, because we can't leave the house. And he says, look, better make it 8 months just to be sure. I'm thinking, wow, this is quite amazing. This is really going to be taking some time. And so she goes off and she gets their supplies. Then we see scene where Joseph is pouring salt around the entire house, and there's just a little gap, and he looks up at her and he says, "Are you sure you want to do this?" He said, "Because once I lay that final piece of salt, you can't leave. Doesn't matter what happens. If it's a medical emergency, nothing. You cannot leave." And it's wonderful in that we get that sense of, oh, do I want to do that, you know, because we're actually feeling trapped inside that house with them, Darkrealmers. And that's what's so wonderful about this movie, is the fact that we're there too. We really feel like we're there. And I found myself saying, oh, hang on, let me have a think about this. And of course, we as the audience know we have to go along for the journey. But apart from that, we also need to know what is going to happen. What is this ritual? What does it involve? You know, why is it perhaps, you know, scary, that sort of thing, okay? And she says, no, I'm determined. So he pours the last bit of salt, and you get this very strong feeling that it's almost like Joseph has locked a door and we're now trapped, okay? We can't step over that salt circle, okay? Now the story continues with Joseph basically denoting each room in the house to different aspects like fire and water and earth, and I don't have the details or you know, to go into great detail about what each room means, but you know, he says there's one room where he draws, you know, circles, and then there's a larger circle inside, and that's where the Guardian Angel should appear if they're successful. But he says we have to perform a ritual on each of these outer circles. We have to consecrate it, then we have to do it all over again. And there's one room where he says this will be the abyss. This is where the void comes and things come out, and straight away going, yeah, no, I don't think I like that room. But the whole point of these rituals is that they must be pure in body, mind and spirit. Okay, so it's really wonderful, and the fact that we see these rituals done by candlelight, and you know, Sophia desperately, you know, praying and whatever, and it's just wonderful. The atmosphere, the lighting is just mind-blowing. It's you feel this sense of creeping, you know, terror and being scared out, and that's amazing because nothing happens. But we're expecting something, and that's really, really powerful writing at its best, Darkrealmers, because when the writers say, right, okay, you know, this is how it's all set up, candles, flickering candles, performing a ritual, and we as an audience think, okay, something's going to happen, something horrible's going to happen, and then nothing happens. But we've been chilled just from some great writing and some great acting. Now, I won't go into all the details, okay, because it's very complex, not so much in the rituals, Darkrealmers, but in the character interaction, and it's so character focused and such a strong drama that you need to see it for yourself to see how this relationship works. But some of the highlights in it now, Sophia has a picture of her and her son, and she's also got a little toy figurine that he used to, action figure he used to, and that becomes another example of mise en scene. It goes missing and she's straight away suspicious, and Joseph says, I haven't touched it, but why would I want to touch it? I haven't been through your things. Then in the laundry, she sees this little figurine, it's back, okay? And these are all examples of how they're getting closer and closer to seeing their guardian angel. And there's scenes where she says, that's it, I've had enough, nothing's happening. And he said, yes, things are happening, you just can't see them. And while she's saying that, a bird hits the window. And he said, see, something's happening. She's going, no, that's just a coincidence. He goes, it's a blackbird, I'm telling you. And she said, well, I can't see from here. And we're like, yeah, I believe, Joseph, something is happening. Something really, you know, is on the verge of happening here. Something wonderful or whatever. Now, there's some wonderful twists and turns in this movie, but not enough to make you sit, oh, hang on, did that happen? No, that didn't happen. No, it's very straightforward, but it's wonderfully written, Darkrealmers. I can't get that through enough in this. Now, one of the signs they get that the Guardian Angel is hearing them, or hearing their invitation and making up its mind whether it's going to come and actually materialise in the circle, is that on the hallway, Sophia noticed some flower petals and some little twigs, and they couldn't have possibly gotten there by themselves. Okay, and that's one sign. Then there's a knocking that they can hear under the floorboards, and these little signs. And there's one scene where she does a ritual, and a little piece of almost, oh, it's like sort of like gilding paper, you know, the gold paper that you use for lettering. A little piece of that twiggles down, and then another, and it's like she's being showered with this, and then we know she's on the right track. But okay, as the relationship between Joseph and Sophia continue, we learn some things. Okay, now he mentions something. He says, oh, you know, just get over it, forgive. And she goes, I don't do forgiveness. And that's very important, Darkrealmers, because we learn later on that she's lied to Joseph. Yes, she does she'd love to meet her son again, but he didn't die naturally. He was abducted from a childcare centre, and he was murdered in a ritual by teenagers, you know, playing around with Satanism. And she wants vengeance. She wants this, these people who they either got off, or, you know, some of the culprits didn't get brought to justice. She wants them to die horribly, and she wants them to be damned for all eternity. That's what she's going to ask the angel for. And he says, you lied to me, you fucking lied to me, you bitch. You have to go into this with pure, you know, pure spirit. If you lie to me, it's not going to work, okay? And she says, oh, I'm sorry. But what she doesn't realise is that by lying, she's put themselves in danger. She's put them both, Joseph and herself, in danger. And he has, in the middle of the night, wakes her up and says, right, I've got a ritual, you need to perform it. And, oh, can't we do it in the morning? No, now. We need to do this now. And he runs a bath for her, and there's no heating in this house too, Darkrealmers. Every time he pours cold water over her, it's freezing water, you know, and she has to endure all this. So we feel it, we really do. But in this scene, he says, right, we need to purify your soul. Now I'm going to put you under 3 times, almost like a baptism it is, Darkrealmers, and, you know, I'll say some words of power. And he puts her under and, you know, cleanse my soul, whatever. Well, on the 3rd time, he actually holds her under and he strangles her. He's holding her down and she's drowning, and you're going, oh my God. Now, why has he done this? Is he really a serial killer? Is Joseph some sort of, you know, pervert that basically he's just wanted to do away with Sophia and have, you know, some sort of kinky necrophiliac thing? All these things run through your mind. Well, it did with me anyway, Darkrealmers, you know, but that's what happens when you're a writer. Your mind rushes 10 minutes ahead of itself. But anyway, he waits a little while, not too long, and then he revives her. And he said, I had to do that. You needed to be taken to the other side and brought back to purify yourself, to get rid of it. You bastard, you bastard. And this is where the power struggle and the I want to be the dominant one in the relationship all comes from, okay? She wants to quit at that point, and I'll tell you what, look, if some guy had tried to cleanse my soul and drowned me and then brought me back, yeah, I think I would give it a whole miss too, Darkrealmers, yeah. But there are scenes there where we see this, you know, how the characters aren't perfect by any means. She's lied to him, but he's no angel either. He's already said he's an alcoholic, and you know, he just, his wish that he wants to ask the angel is to be invisible. And when he says, look, it's not what you think. I'm not going to, you know, like suddenly I just want to be away from the world. I don't want the world to know me or know where I am, so I can, until, you know, the world improves. But there's a scene where he says, I need you to take your clothes off. Now, squat down in, you know, on your all fours and show me. And he's masturbating. And she says, why was that necessary? What part of the ritual was that? And he said, it wasn't part of the ritual. I'm a man and I've got impure thoughts and I had to get rid of them. You bastard, you know. And she feels like she's been physically raped, and in a way she has, okay? She has been abused by this man, and he's just taken upon itself that, look, you need my knowledge, you need my help, and if you want, you know, I'll take liberties. Now, so we get this build-up of all these rituals. We feel the trials. She's physically and mentally exhausted, okay? And into this mix, there's something, you know, at the other side of the abyss door, and she keeps hearing her son, Mummy, I don't like it in here. There's a barking dog. Will you let me out? No, I can't open the door. And we're biting our nails because she's a mother, and she is so tempted to open this door, but she knows that's not her son, and Joseph reinforces that for her. Okay. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, there's a scene where Joseph slips and you know, impales himself on a knife, and that gets back to the fact that this has all happened because she's lied to him, okay? And she has to remove the knife, or they don't have any antiseptic, anything like that. So, you know, she does her best and she covers it up, but it starts getting infected. And she can't leave the house, she can't take him with him. You know, the electricity has been off for a while. There's no, you know, they don't have phones, they can't use that sort of thing. And then you find out, you know, that Joseph is getting worse. And we know he's not going to get over this, because you see this wound becoming totally infected. And she knows this too. So it's up to Sophia to finish the ritual if she can. And I won't tell you any more, Darkrealmers, about, you know, Steve's condition and what transpires, but it's an amazing, you know, last third of the movie when Sophia is by herself. She actually steps over that salt line and drives into the city. And you think, oh, that's it, that's the end of the movie, but it's not. She goes back to that house, and it's the most frightening, you know, last 30-45 minutes of any movie I've ever seen. But it's also got a wonderful ending that I didn't see coming, because I thought all this, you know, it's all the ritual hasn't worked. Well, there's some things there that will show you the ritual did work, and the line that she says at the end is just totally mind-blowing, because it's something unexpected and it's something you just didn't think she would say. Okay, so that's my review of A Dark Song, Darkrealmers. It's wonderful. It's very character driven. It's more drama than horror. Hollywood could really take a lesson from little movies like this, because it shows you how you can chill your audience and you can frighten them just by two characters interacting and just with some superb lighting. And it's wonderful. Now, I saw it here on YouTube, so check it out and find it for yourself, but it's also available on DVD, which I'm really pleased to say, Darkrealmers. So grab yourself a copy. You will not, I promise you, will not be disappointed in this. And hey, Amber, even you could watch this. Now, I don't say that often, but this is really character driven, and because it plays very much on our wonder, our expectations about this ritual and what it involves. So it's very character driven, okay? So yes, I think you'd like it, and hubby will too. Okay, there you go, Darkrealmers. I highly recommend this movie for you. It's like I said, it's one of my Mary Poppins movies, okay? And they don't come along very, very often. So when they do, I love sharing them with you. Okay, Darkrealmers. Well, that's it for my review of A Dark Song. I hope you've enjoyed my review, and if it's made you want to see the movie, let me know in the comments. Then I know I'm doing my job really well, okay? And if you've seen the movie yourself, let our other Darkrealmers know what you thought of it too, okay? And if this is your first time to the diaries, well, welcome to you, and thank you for sticking around. And please think about subscribing to us, because we have some great horror content, movie reviews, book reviews, trivia, all from the world of horror and Hollywood, okay? So until next time, Darkrealmers, this is Michael J. Elliott saying to you, stay in the light, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye for now.